The wine glass shattered against the hardwood, a crystalline scream slicing through polite murmur of conversation. My body froze, my heart lurching as the room fell silent. Every eye suddenly on me. Claire stood at the head of the table, face tight with controlled fury, lips quivering as her gaze cut me down. "You don't deserve to be here," she said, low, venomous, each word sinking like a dagger into my chest. Her friends shifted in their seats, uncomfortable. Forks clinked against plates, eyes avoiding mine. I wanted to yell, to demand why, but my throat tightened. I could only stand there, crushed by the weight of her accusation. I hadn't even wanted to come to this damn dinner. The night had felt off from the start, like a song played in the wrong key. Claire had been distant all week, smiles forced, touches fleeting. I told myself it was stress, her promotion, late nights, endless hush calls. "Work," she'd said, brushing me off. I believed her because I wanted to, because doubting her felt like betraying the 10 years we'd built. But tonight, in our cramped apartment kitchen, watching her obsess over the table settings with manic precision, something prickled inside me. "Why don't we ever have my friends over?" I'd asked, half joking. Her eyes had flashed for just a second before she turned away. "They wouldn't fit in," she said flatly. I laughed it off, but the words lingered, cold, sharp. Now, standing in the wreckage of her words, the room tilted. The scent of roasted garlic and expensive Merlot hung thick, suffocating, heavy with unspoken truths. Elise, perched on the edge of the table, avoided my gaze, twisting a napkin into knots. Mark, the office guy who lingered too long, smirked faintly, eyes glinting with something I couldn't name. I wanted to grab Claire, pull her aside, demand answers, but her words echoed. "You don't deserve to be here." What did that even mean? My hands shook as I set down my napkin, rough against sweaty palms. "Claire, what's going on?" I managed, voice tight. She didn't answer. Instead, she turned to her friends, smile snapping back into place like a mask. "Let's not ruin the evening," she said, brittle and bright. The others murmured agreement, their voices soft but sharp as needles against my skull. I stumbled out, pulse hammering, the hallway dim and narrow, closing in. I needed air. I needed space. The front door slammed behind me. Autumn wind bit my skin as I leaned against the brick wall, breath fogging in the night air. My mind replayed the last few months. Late nights, guarded phone, the way she flinched when I touched her last week. I told myself it was nothing. Paranoia, but not entirely. 2 weeks ago, I glimpsed a text from M. "Can't wait to see you." I'd asked her casually. She'd laughed it off, saying it was Mark, planning a work thing. I'd nodded, swallowed my doubt. She was Claire, my Claire, sweet, funny, silly with sticky notes on the fridge. She wasn't the lying type, or so I thought. I paced the sidewalk, streetlights stretching my shadow across cracked pavement. My phone buzzed. Hope flared. "Claire? An apology? An explanation?" Not her. "Elise, meet me at the coffee shop on 5th. Now!" My stomach twisted. Elise, normally nervous and shy, had never texted me before. Why now? Curiosity, dread, desperation pushed me forward. The shop was a block away, its neon sign flickering like a warning. Inside, the smell of burnt espresso and damp wool hung heavy. Elise sat in a corner booth, coat still on, as if ready to run. Her eyes darted to mine, wide and glassy. "I'm sorry," she whispered before I could sit. "I didn't know how to tell you." My heart stopped, then raced. "Tell me what?" I asked, though I already knew. Her hands trembled as she slid her phone across the table. A photo glowed on the screen. Claire laughing, head thrown back, hand resting on Mark's arm. Dim bar lighting. Intimacy in every gesture. Time-stamped last night, when Claire said she was working late. I stared, vision blurring. "There's more," Elise said, voice breaking, swiping to another image. Claire and Mark closer now, faces inches apart. My chest tightened, like air being squeezed out of me. "Why are you showing me this?" My voice was raw. "To accuse me?" Elise flinched, fingers twisting together. "Because I saw them," she said. "Last week at his place." I was dropping off files. They didn't know I was there. Each word landed like a punch. Denial flared, but the photos didn't lie. Claire's gaze, her lingering hand. They told a story I couldn't unsee. I don't remember leaving the coffee shop, but I was back on the street. Cold air stung my face. My mind spun with anger, heartbreak, confusion. Her words at dinner rang in my ears. The public humiliation, the sharp edge of rejection. Was it guilt, or was it her way of pushing me out? I want to confront her, scream, beg her to tell me it wasn't true. Deep down, I knew it was. The signs had always been there. Late nights, coldness, the way she stopped saying, I love you first. I had ignored them, clung to the version of her I wanted to believe in. That version was gone. I returned to the apartment. Heavy steps. Deliberate. The dinner was over. Guests gone. Half-empty plates and wine-stained glasses littered the table. Claire was in the kitchen, scrubbing a pan. Movements sharp. Angry. She didn't look up. We need to talk, I said, voice steady despite the storm inside. She froze. About what? Too casual. Too defensive. I pulled out my phone, showed her Elisa's photos. Her face crumpled briefly before hardening. It's not what you think, she said, voice wavering. Then what is it? I demanded, voice rising. Because it looks like you're in love with someone else. Her silence was deafening. She set the pan down, hands trembling, and met my gaze, eyes wet, not with regret, but defiance. You've been checked out for months, she said, sharp. You don't see me anymore. I faltered. Had I? Late nights. Arguments brushed off. Distance I assumed temporary. It didn't justify this. Not her. The room felt smaller. Walls closing in. Two strangers standing where love once lived. I saw you, I said, voice breaking. Elise showed me everything. For the first time, Claire looked scared. Not of me, but of being caught. It was a mistake, she whispered. But it was too late. The truth was raw, ugly, and inescapable. And it wasn't just Mark. It was us. How we let the cracks grow until they swallowed everything. I turned to leave, heart in pieces. I'm pregnant, she said so softly I almost missed it. I froze. Breath caught. Her eyes pleaded. But I didn't know whose child she carried. Uncertainty twisted deeper than any betrayal.